1,500 people in Lac Megantic who were forced from their homes by the explosion and fire could return as early as today. While some residents prepare and hope to move home, the community still has a lot of work to do to restore the downtown. To give you a better idea of just how bad it is, officials say 40 buildings were leveled. But it's the human toll in this story weighing most heavily on everyone right now.
Investigators have been going on the scene to areas that have not been looked at before, and as we are speaking right now, we have found 8 more victims inside of the room, so that leads us to 13 victims as we are speaking right now. Within the 13 people that we found, we think that we know that around 50 people are still reported missing. The number has been stabilizing all the afternoon, and right now we can say that we have almost 50 people are reported missing.
And we're going to see what investigators find today if more areas around the blast site are cleared for safe entry. Some parts are still too dangerous for anyone to get in close. Meanwhile, police still are trying to figure out exactly how this happened in the first place.
We do not yet know the cause of this tragic derailment, but we do know that Transport Canada inspector inspected the locomotive involved in this event just the day before it happened on July the 5th and found no deficiencies. If anyone is found to have contravened any federal transportation regulations, we will take immediate steps to enforce those regulations. There is nothing more important than safety and protection of Canadians.
Still unclear when Edward Burkhardt will visit Lac Megantic. He's the head of Rail World Incorporated, the company that owns the train of tanker cars that burst into flames. Meanwhile, we're expecting more briefings from officials throughout the day, so stay with Sun News for the latest updates. The tragedy, though, in Lac Megantic, Quebec, has prompted Queen Elizabeth II to reach out through Twitter. The tweet from the British Monarchy account reads, "The Queen to the people of Canada following the recent train crash. My thoughts and prayers are with you all." So joining us live on the phone for the very latest on the tragic tragedy in Lac Megantic is Sûreté du Québec spokesperson Gregory Gomez del Prado. Good morning, Gregory.
Good morning.
Have there been any developments since yesterday in terms of the ability to get closer to the area?
Well, we've been able, like you said, we've been able, yesterday we announced that we were able to get on the scene. There's some areas that we still have to go on the supervision and of the firefighter because they represent, they could a potential threat. So, since yesterday we were able to really get the investigation and the analysis of the scene started.
Is the fire and the town under control at this point, or is there still a risk of further explosions?
Well, there might be some areas still at risk. The firefighters will be more able to. They're the ones who are securing the area. But my comprehension was that basically everything is contained, and there's still some areas, but most of them are out of danger.
Gregory, 13 people thus far have lost their lives in this incident. What can you tell us about where they were found relative to the explosion?
Well, for now, I cannot say much because there's a process going on, an ongoing process regarding their identification, and if we released any information regarding the places where we found those bodies, we could identify them or give maybe information about their identities. So we basically want to keep that until the families are aware of those people of the death. And of course, but the important thing to mention is that we fear that the death toll will rise.
Yeah, exactly, Gregory. So what exactly is the number in terms of people that are still missing?
Well, we're talking about more or less 50 people, and that includes when we're talking about the disappearance, that could include the 13 dead that were already mentioned. So for now, our biggest concern is the identification with the bureau, the coroner's office. We're working hard, and of course, that's the one part, and the other part is trying to determine what happened exactly and trying to get into the heart of the accident.
Okay, so is that the focus right now? Get on the grounds and gather evidence, or are you also looking for evidence where the train might have, for instance, not had its brake on?
Well, we were looking at every aspect. There's been a lot of speculation on the media and even on the social media. I've seen pictures and videos that have been posted, and I mean, we're working hard. We don't want to release any. We're working with facts, so we don't want to release any information right now, because we want to make sure that when we go out in the public, we'll be sure that we're dealing with facts and not hypothesis.
Nonetheless, though, Gregory, there is the potential that this could have been sabotage. It could even be terror. Sûreté du Québec is currently running the investigation. At what point do you bring in the RCMP or another police force to help you out?
Well, we have the resources. We're working with every law enforcement agency if needed. You know, we're working hard with our partners in emergency unit partners, and of course, if we need, of course, we know that the community has shown, and I'm talking about the police community, has shown a lot of responses and support. So we know that they're there to help us out, and we're working hard, to get the information. Once we get we have the facts and we know where we're going. Of course, we're gonna deploy every unit, and if needed, of course, we'll be working with our partners.
And Gregory, in terms of the timeline for today, what do you anticipate will go on with the police forces today?
Well, we'll still be working on trying to find, if there are any more bodies. Of course, unfortunately, we'll have our investigators who will be on the scene, on the site, trying to gather evidence and determine what happened to this tragic event.
Absolutely. Gregory, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Gregory Gomez Del Prado, Sûreté du Québec spokesperson, live from Montreal.